So this last month of summer, we've been kind of taking a little more lighthearted look at the lens of spiritual principles. Specifically, we've been using the Taoist perspective and the characters, especially Winnie-the-Pooh, in which to see them reflected and to perhaps discover some ways in which we can use this path of simplicity and joy and curiosity and just being alive and willing to be in the presence of life to enhance our own lives. So last week we explored a few of the central principles of Taoism through this lens of Winnie-the-Pooh. First, our serenity comes when we appreciate, when we can learn from and work with whatever happens in our life. Sounds very simple, but in my experience, not always very easy to do, especially when stuff shows up that we instinctively want to say, no, thank you. But there it is. And rather than trying to predict and control or resist and deny what's happening, instead of complaining about it and railing against it, or my default choice, just run away from having to have it in my experience, to try and stick my head under the covers. If we follow the example of Pooh, we simply apply the principle of self-reliance, which is our ability to recognize who we are, what we've got to work with, and what works best for us. Not what other people think we should or shouldn't be doing, but to really just be honest and open to what we can do in that moment, and then allow that to guide us. So this morning we're going to take another couple minutes to look at another one of Pooh's adventures.
In a wondrous place known as the 100 Acre Wood is a bear named Winnie-the-Pooh, who has had many grand adventures, and if I am correct, I believe we have just enough time to see one. One day, Pooh gathered with his friends, Rabbit, Piglet, and Roo, on the old wooden bridge to race their Pooh sticks in the river below.
All right now. Now the first stick to pass all the way under the bridge wins. Now on your marks, get set, go!
I can see mine! I win!
Can you see yours, Pooh?
No, I expect my stick's stuck.
Mine's a sort of grayish one.
Yes, that's what I can see. It's coming over to my side.
Come on, stick! Stick! Stick!
Are you sure it's mine?
It's a big gray one. Here it comes. A very big gray...
Oh, no, it isn't. It's...
Eeyore!
Don't pay any attention to me.
Eeyore, what are you doing down there?
Give you 3 guesses.
Fishing.
Wrong.
Going for a sail?
Wrong again.
Waiting for somebody to, help you out of the river?
That's right.
I've got an idea. If we all threw stones and things into the river on one side of Eeyore, the stones would make waves, and the waves would wash him to the other side.
That's a very good idea. I'm glad we thought of it, Pooh. Pooh? I think a little to the left, Pooh. No, to the right, yes. Are you ready?
Ready.
1, 2, now!
Oh dear. Perhaps it wasn't such a very good idea after all.
There he is! Your plan worked, Pooh!
Everyone was very relieved to see Eeyore safely out of the water. So to celebrate, they all gathered on the old bridge to race their Pooh sticks. Good friends together, all having good fun on another day in the 100 Acre Wood.
So when faced with this problem, Pooh goes for the first idea that pops into his head, or some might even say his gut. He's usually guided often by his gut. A solution that most often Pooh comes up with is just what's going to work the best with the natural flow of things, with what we've got right here. He doesn't analyze the pros and the cons of, like the owl would do. He doesn't worry about the outcomes like Piglet often does. He doesn't take credit as the clever part of our ego or rabbit likes to do. He is the simple mind that sees what's in front of it and follows the natural way of things. This principle of wu wei, something like that, means no going against the nature of things. It means no clever tampering or directing, no what they refer to as egotistical effort. It's the principle of no effort. Now that might sound very strange to those of us in the Western world, especially in this country in particular, because we are taught that we have to go out and get it. We have to strive for it, and it requires effort to become successful, to achieve happiness, to have the outcomes that we're hoping to have. We're told that we have to bring everything we can. We have to bring knowledge and cleverness and power and determination to conquer whatever seems to be in the way. The Tao Te Ching says, Tao does not do, but nothing is not done. I want you to hear that for a minute. Tao does not do, but nothing is not done. It's an interesting way of looking at and understanding life, one that might even feel a little foreign for us. But you can think of it like water that flows down a river. And when it encounters a rock, it either goes around it or it flows over it. But there's no effort on the part of the water. The water's not contemplating what its best way to, it just moves with the natural flow of things. There's no effort required to continue its path down the stream. Pooh is quoted as saying that one of the most convenient things about being sensitive to circumstances, about knowing how to flow with it naturally, is that you don't have to make so many difficult decisions. Instead, you can let them make themselves. Think about that. Think about how life would be different if you just went and said, I'm going to just see what naturally happens, and I'm going to trust it, and I'm going to be okay with it. And whatever happens next, I'm going to step into it in the same way. So as we prepare to go into meditation time, I'm just going to invite you to look at something that might be going on in your own life that seems challenging, or you're trying to figure out how to solve or resolve an issue that's happening. And see if you can't, in this inner time of reflection, of listening, of being open, of being curious, if there might be a very simple idea that arises that guides you into how you're going to flow around, over, underneath, whatever the circumstances calls. So as you begin to just bring your attention inward, you might want to close your eyes if that helps you focus on this inner world and this inner life, this inner wisdom and knowing. I just invite you first to take a couple of deep breaths, as we often do, letting that breath bring us into greater and greater awareness of the body, how it's being supported, noticing if there's place that might be stressed or have tension in them, and on that next breath out, just imagining that tension is released with the out breath. And then see if you can't feel or imagine that that thinking part of you that's occupied in our head, the brain, is now beginning to slowly sink down until it comes to gently rest in our heart space in the center of our chest. The place of wisdom where inner knowing and intuition combine with the knowledge, the experience, and the awareness of our outer world. They come and they commingle together. And in this space where we can tap into a perspective of life beyond just what's in front of us in this moment, that we can begin to connect with the eternal part of us that is also a part of the eternal flow of life. And into that space, I just invite you to bring a challenge, a place of indecision, something that you're seeking guidance around or that you're curious about expanding your understanding of how it is here for good in your life. And as it just simply rests and is surrounded and enfolded by this energy of divine love, we just open ourselves as we rest in this moment of silence, curious and awake to what's seeking to be revealed. We tune in our inner ear so that we may hear that eternal voice of wisdom as we rest for a minute or so in the silence. And as you slowly begin to bring your awareness back to this time and this space, aware once again of your body being supported by the chair that you're sitting in, aware of your breath that has always been breathing, even when you didn't have your attention on it. And take a moment to give thanks for whatever small or large connection was made by simply being willing to be quiet and listen, to doing as Jesus instructed, to go in to the room and close the door so that you can become more aware of who you truly are and your life and your purpose in this human experience. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So the other thing that Pooh is really good at is what Taoism calls enjoying the process. You know, in the Western world, we're always after achieving success, and we're striving, we set goals, we meet them, we set some more goals to just continue to bring about more, ideally, what we hope, I guess what drives us, if we believe that, more happiness, more success, more joy in our lives. When Christopher Robin asked Pooh what he likes doing best, he thought for just a second. He said, you know, honey and eating it is a very good thing to do. But then he paused again and he said, but it was also really good when I had those moments just before eating the honey that were also really good. The anticipation of having that experience was really good too. You know, in our case, we might want to think about Christmas presents when we were a kid especially. You know, and for however long it was in your household that you were in that anticipation of what was going to come and the joy that you would have on Christmas Day opening the presents and all of the anticipation that came. You know, sometimes we were tearing the house up to find the secret hiding places as we got a little older. And once the presents were wrapped, lifting them, seeing how heavy they were, shaking them, see what was maybe giving us a clue of what was inside. It was almost as much fun as the actual opening process. In fact, as I've watched it with my children over the years, almost as soon as the presents were opened, and maybe they were played with a little bit, the mind was off to the next time, whether it was next Christmas or the next birthday or whatever the next thing was that they could be in anticipation of. Once the goal is achieved, and this is often true in our lives too, once we've achieved the goal and we've worked so hard to get there, we rarely take a moment to enjoy it. Now we're off to the next one. And the author, Benjamin Hoff, who wrote the book, The Tao of Pooh, says this. He says that doesn't mean that the goals we have don't count. They do, mostly because they cause us to go through the process. And it's the process that creates the wisdom and the happiness and the joy that we're seeking. Once we get to the goal, it's over. But it's enjoying and being able to savor the process as we're going through it, where the real gift lies. And in order to truly enjoy the process, ultimately, we just need to believe, we need to have faith that this is the fun part, this is the joyful part of the journey. Not in some spiritual Superman who will pick us up and carry us to where we need to go, or that we are called to sit around and just wait for fate to come knocking at our door. We simply need to believe in the power that's within us and use it in service of who we have come here to be and how we are being called to share it. When we stop imitating others or competing against them, we can appreciate, we can learn from, and we can work with whatever happens in our life. We ultimately get to swim in a river of peace. Beautiful. Well, it is our opportunity now to share of our financial good with this ministry. Whether you give online or this is not your Sunday to share, we want everyone to come up and be in the flow of giving and receiving. You can simply add your energy to the basket or use a little card that says you give online, and then receive an affirmation to bless you this week. Well, let us take what we offer today into our hands and into our hearts and bless it. Together, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God.
All right, why don't we go ahead and stand up together? Let's join hands, and we're going to do our peace song.
So as we go into this week ready to embrace and to learn from and to discover the joy in whatever may come our way, we go knowing our prayer for protection. We'll do it as call and response. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. Together, wherever we are, God is, and all is well.